Hey everybody, welcome to the Fire It Up with CJ show. Today we're going to learn all about the law of attraction, and we have Michael Perlman here who's going to be talking about his work in the law of attraction journaling. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Great to be on your show, CJ.
So I want to start off with some basics. What is the law of attraction for people who may not be familiar with the concept?
It's a concept that's emerged over time to give meaning and a simple way to approach the fact that you are what you think about. In other words, the tone vibration of what your thoughts are will determine how you're vibrating, so to speak, and that draws like to you. Like attracts like. So if you have a pleasant demeanor, have pleasant thoughts, then you invite more of that from the world. The world is a reflection of you.
Right.
And if you have negative thoughts, angry feelings, then you're more likely to invite some negative feelings, and they would keep on repeating ad nauseum.
So and then you mentioned the vibration part. Tell me what that means. So if I have positive thoughts, positive feelings, then I'm going to be vibrating. What does that mean?
Yes, the vibrating in the sense your frequency is higher, lighter, freer, a higher vibration, a higher tone, higher demeanor. Do you see the words even reflect that state of being? He's very high-minded. He has a lightness of touch,
Right.
as opposed to he's heavy, he's dark, he's low.
Yeah.
You see? So it's the words create that.
Isn't that funny?
And,
What I think is so interesting is we actually can sense that, right? We use our certain words.
Yes.
Because we can
Oh,
actually
yes.
we have our own little toning frequency. Like we know the frequency of a person, even though you may not go, I don't know what it means to have a frequency. What does it mean that I'm vibrating and have a frequency? On an intuitive level, we know because we say it with our words, right? Like that guy's a down,
Yeah.
or she's like light, or
Right.
whatever. Yeah. So the idea is that you are what you think about. Is
You
what
bet.
said. Okay.
You are what you think about, and that there's an old expression called abracadabra, which means I create as I speak. In a sense of magic, and the masters knew that how they spoke and how they resonated, their words resonated, would deliver their experience to them.
Who are
And
these masters? Because it seems like, you read The Secret, you see The Secret, you see all these different things, and in The Secret they have this very, like, sensationalist beginning where it's like,
Yes.
long ago there are these secrets, and now we're going to
Yes,
reveal them
yes,
to you.
yes,
And
yes.
so that makes it seem like there's a secret society, and this information was not available until now. I mean, what is
Well, it's good PR, it's good hype, good marketing. I mean,
Right.
if you went to see, we're showing a movie about a guy and a gal, and they have a fun time. Whoa, wait a minute.
Right. That's a little bit boring. But is there a history to it? I mean, how do we know? Here's the thing, I know my own personal experience, that I know that this is real
Yes.
from my own personal experience. But oftentimes people aren't even willing to try it. So what's the history to prove that this thing is real and that it's an ancient thing and it's real?
Well, I think you can. There's an expression that my patients use in AA, and they say to people in the program in recovery, no explanation is necessary, and to people not in the program, no explanation will suffice, because they can't believe that their problems are solved by a spiritual consciousness, by changing their point of view. And there are those that intuit it, that know that if they had more of a connection to their soul or their heart, that they would change things. And then they read The Secret, and they start to see how people have changed their attitudes, their point of view, their words, and have gotten more and more attractive in the results they manifest in their life. So you can't talk to people on the intellectual level exclusively. Yes, you can give them some information, but at some point they must sense the vibration you're giving them. There's a possibility. You feel optimistic. The people you surround with are getting some results, and that carries into it. That invites them in.
Right. Okay. But in the world of skeptics, what would you say to a skeptic? Because they need something, right? They need
Yeah.
a sense of like, this is true. Freud said it was true, or
Well, but
is there
I
anything like
wouldn't.
that?
Yeah, I mean, you can't teach a pig to sing. It frustrates you and irritates the pig. I mean,
Right.
so you at some point you can smile, and if they ask a question, they want to know more, fine, I'm more than ready. But when they take the stance that, prove to me that there's a God, or prove to me you have a soul, I smile and, well, okay, you have a good day. Now, I don't mean to be so dismissive, but you
Right.
get to see, and that raises a fundamental issue. The problem most people have in getting this, in getting the law of attraction, while a lot of people feel they don't quite understand how it works or know how to do it, is the unacknowledged, unappreciated aspect of it is that we do have an ego, a body-mind. In other words, there are two streams of consciousness going through us all the time. And the more we can walk and chew gum and balance those two streams, the freer, happier, and more attractive we are in our life. Let me be more specific. In other words, you were born as a human being, as an infant, perfect and inviting, and with all sorts of openness and receptivity and joy and wonder in the world. And then you meet your parents, and you're slowly guided by the sociocultural background to look both ways before you cross the street, don't take money from strangers, be careful, you get hurt, you get sick, wear your rubbers, and on the other things you need to learn for your, again, the cultural, social environment. And you get to be a very fearful, fight or fright, reactive individual. Now, many people use this as their guidance, but most people are trapped, especially if they had more dysfunctional experiences, are trapped in the negative fearfulness, and they missed an education from a cultural point of view or a spiritual, psychological point of view from the family that introduces them back to the wonders of enjoying the garden they've been given. So two streams. So they are, and yet they're two valid and important aspects. So that person who is coming from, I don't understand it, can you explain this to me? And you can, try to make some analogy or a description, but at some point they have not felt the need to be either sick and tired of holding on to their old patterns of being. It hasn't failed them, or they get a glimmering, there is another way, and they can open up to look at another way to see the world. That's your heart consciousness, or your I don't know, call it your soul consciousness, if you like. The words don't matter, because as soon as you give it a name, someone's got a beef with it. I mean, you can call it your divine, you can call it God consciousness, Christ consciousness, Buddha. But then you see what starts to happen. The ego is, wait a minute, I'm not Jewish, I'm not Christian, and you're already off and running. Or the nuns were mean to me. Okay, I got it. But they're talking about it from their ego, their conditioned being point of view. So once we set that up, and the Law of Attraction journaling program really attempts to help you appreciate the contrast between these two distinct structures.
Okay, got it. The ego, and then also the ego, and then the kind of heart consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Those are the two streams, like kind of the higher mind and then the body ego. Is that is that how you?
Absolutely, and you can call that if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. I mean, you know you're in that zone.
Right. Yeah.
You're in your truth, your soul knowing.
How did you know? When did you make the switch from, or did you just know? Were you an enlightened person who knew already, or when did you make the switch and what happened for you?
Oh, my goodness, CJ. I was always an enlightened person, but my idiot self would never relent. So I had to sort of enjoy the garden and then get caught into the crazy thinking and the seeking, drugs, food, sex, rock and roll of my ego, my ambition, more, better, you see. So, but always I was whipsawed by the two streams.
So what won you over?
I think at some point the ego gets burnt out. I mean, it's sort of at some point you get more and more grounding and more confidence in the soul consciousness, the heart consciousness, and it becomes more and more of a senior structure. And then when the thought of doing this or that, you get to be in a position of saying, well, is that true? really? What makes you say that? That's an interesting comment. And it quiets down.
Right. So then almost what happens is the person in the driver's seat switched, and when that
Yes,
person switched,
yes.
that's when things change for you. Like but it seems like preceding that must be an awareness that there are two entities trying to drive the bus,
Yeah, well,
right?
sure. Yeah, it's not quite, but sort of schizophrenic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, think of it. I'm a healthy young man, and I'm attracted to women, and women attracted to me. I mean, hello, am I going to explore or what?
Right, right.
Try this, taste this, drink that. You see? So, you explore and you get into it, and there's a learning in all of that because you've sort of drunk freely of the
Right.
life experiences, and then you start to come back to, wait a minute, is this been there, done that, and you come back again to your source, which I always had a connection to.
Well, that's lucky because for me, actually, what happened, I was thinking, well, how would I answer that same question? And for me, what happened is, I was at my dad's funeral, and I had to deliver this eulogy, which is really hard. I don't know if you've had to deliver a eulogy of a loved one, but it's very hard. And I was like, how am I gonna keep it together and not bawl my eyes out
Sure,
before I give this
absolutely.
eulogy in front of everyone? And I said, Dad, if you're there, you better show me a sign right now, because I need to know. I need to know that you're there. And the minute I thought that, these two crows came. They made this loud chirping noise, and they sat right in front of me, and they were staring. They're sitting on a telephone pole, staring at
Oh
me.
my word! Yeah.
And I thought, wait a second. And I thought to myself, did I just, with my thought, make this thing happen? And then all of
Sure.
a sudden the birds are like, wah, wah, like, like it was almost like I was having like a conversation with these birds and that was the moment where I thought, okay, something is happening here. And then I had instances where all sorts of mystical experiences that never happened. A light would turn on in the middle of the night. We unplug the light from our socket, thinking, I don't know what's happening. There's something wrong with the electrical outlet. The light still went on. And to this
Yeah.
day, I believe that it was my dad. Like, there's all these meaning. Is this law of
Well,
attraction? No, but I think there's all these mystical things that, unless you can suspend that the belief system that we have, there's something greater. Then I don't think you can get to that place that you're talking about.
exactly. It's balancing the two. It's not believing, it's knowing that was the presence of Dad in whatever form, you see? I mean,
Yeah,
and I mean, it's not for me to tell you to accept it. It's for you to know it or not, but
yeah,
belief is of the intellect. Knowing is of the heart and the soul. It's the knowing, soul knowing is what you might call an unbounded or disembodied thought. It just, the thought comes in and
hmm
okay, and you see it. Now you don't want to market it, you don't want to sell it, you don't want to convince anybody, but there's magic all around you, always, already. The world is alive, you see.
right. And so it's just to me, that was a little bit of proof that I needed. Like, wait a second. I had the first thought, and then the birds flew in, and then I had a second thought, and the birds talking to me. I'm like, what the heck is happening? Something is happening
Oh,
here. Okay,
oh
I'm going
yeah.
to take a couple of phone calls or some questions that we got from listeners.
Okay.
So someone asked, how do we know when it's time to make the change, and when do we know the right path to choose for change? So this is, so I think what they're referring to, folks. Type if I didn't get this right, but I think what they're referring to is, okay, you're making a switch from ego to heart consciousness. So how do you
What?
know when it's time to make the change,
Okay.
and when do you
The
know it's a
you,
path to
the
change?
you don't make the switch.
You mean the ego you?
Yeah. You don't try to make a switch. You don't decide to make a switch. You open up to that flow of current of soul consciousness. And you start to discern that as something viable and palpable, and a presence in your life, because it's always already there. But the ego is always attempting to, well, when should I do this or do that? And it's really about listening. And we
Okay. So when your answer
listening
is
and
there's
hearing and seeing.
so you don't really know, it's something that you you're not going to know when it's time to make a change. It's you open up for the possibility to change and you just listen to it.
Yes, yes, it's a subtle. You see, your soul is always already present. It's yearning since you were born. I mean, it's been with you
Right.
to have you listen to it,
Right.
respond to it. And there are moments when it catches your attention, you're more surrendered or quiet,
Right.
and you hear something like the moment with the birds or the crows or this.
Mm-hmm.
See, that moment you've opened up to something.
Mm-hmm.
And we use the journaling to capture like the few minnows in a school of minnows of our thoughts. If you use that metaphor,
Mm-hmm.
just take a few of them, put it down, and look at that thought and see what it feels like. Does
Hmm.
it feel good? It feels so good, and you start to then get in the position of a soul observing, call it a witness or watcher of what am I thinking?
Hmm.
And how would I like to think? What, because you make the connection that your words are creating your reality.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how would I like to change it? What's good? What's working? What's not?
Hmm.
It's simply taking that, it's called that inventory of your life.
Hmm. In my journaling, there's so many different ways. You know, some people do prayer, there's visioning, there's so many different ways of manifesting, right? There's
Hmm.
I'm going
Yes.
to visualize it, I'm going to go into a meditation, I'm going to
Right.
like do a
Right.
prayer. We're and all of them, some of them are vision, some of them are word oriented. Um,
Hmm.
what's your sense about why journaling is so effective and why are the words so important?
Well, I think journaling, I mean, any vehicle, it could be meditation, prayer, it could be many different things, but you can't do it without you can't do it without a excuse me, without the from our point of view, without getting a handle on what your ego thinking, the
Ah, I
animal
see.
body
Okay.
mind is going on. Otherwise, your ego will entertain you from now to the end of time.
So is journaling? Are you
Now, we're talking about intentional, spiritual, meditative journaling. And
okay.
we don't do word dumps. We do a particular form of it where we might have a topic, let's say, in a category of health or relationship or purpose in life, your vocation, your avocation, or your environment, the
Mm,
place and home and where you travel to. And the topic is simply begun by what would you like to change, or what would you like to improve, or what's
mhm.
not quite right. That's
Mhm.
all, a very simple question. And you might write a few words on it. You can take more notes, you can have it. But at the end of the day, see if you can pick a few words, as few as three, two or three, that really speak to the truth about that feeling of your situation, that
Mm,
topic at that moment.
mm,
And then you start to look at it, you feel it, and then you start to move it through other perspectives, through other fields in the journal. And you get a sense that if this is not quite right or uncomfortable, and then look at it from perhaps what would be better. You see, how would you like
mm.
it to be?
Okay.
And you might want to go further into, well, what's not quite right? What's so wrong about this?
Mm,
And then what would you like to have in terms of how would you like to be? What would you like to have here? And you start to open up a more of an expanded vision. So now you're looking at it, let's say kaleidoscopically from differing lenses or perspectives.
mm.
And what will happen is your soul gets a chance to have its say.
Ah, okay, got it. So you're basically
You
finally
take
giving your poor
notes.
soul.
You
Okay.
take notes. Yes, it's like the Course of Miracles. Take notes because your
Ah,
soul will say, yeah, oh, I'd love to be financially
yeah.
independent.
Thank
I'd
you for
love to
finally
be with a
listening to me.
person.
Yes.
Yeah, hello, he showed up. He's here. Harry, come here. Freddie showed up.
Actually, um, I have a friend who's a medium, which means she talks to dead people. And there are lots of dead people floating around. And she said that what happens is they literally get in line ready to talk to her. They're like, finally, someone that can hear us. And I just imagine the same thing. Our poor heart, consciousness, soul, or whatever you want to call it, has just been dying to finally, like, finally, you're talking to me. Okay, so let's do a demonstration of this. I'm gonna use the process that you outlined.
Yeah.
I'll use a personal example. I just went to the chiropractor and I want the curve of my spine. I had a car accident, so the curve of my spine, I want to move from being straight to actually being a proper curve, so properly symmetric.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a very tactical thing. It's a
So
health-oriented
what
thing,
was it?
right?
So you put down the health perspective, my spine, something about it. You might write a note or two, something
Right, I'd
with the
like to have my,
chiropractor.
yeah, I met
Yeah,
with the
good.
chiropractor, so I'm writing my notes. I met with the chiropractor. I want the curvature of my spine. Um,
Yeah,
we're near my neck to turn in the right way, and my
yeah.
if you look at my vertebrae along the side of my back, they're skewed towards the left, so I'd
Right,
like that to be
right.
aligned. I want alignment, proper healthy alignment. Okay, so I may start writing. I
Yeah,
want proper
like
healthy
healthy
alignment.
alignment. Yeah,
Okay, so
great.
let's say that's my
Healthy spinal alignment, something
yeah,
like
so
that.
that's like the tactical thing that like my ego is like, I want healthy because it's hurting my back and when I work out, blah blah blah. Okay, so I'm writing down what I would like to improve is I'd like to have healthy spinal alignment. And then you said I want to distill it down to 2 to 3 words.
Yeah, if
So
you can, you think you've already got it.
healthy
What's
spinal
it?
alignment would be that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's healthy. So my words would be healthy spinal alignment. And then I want to speak to the truth. So is that when I'm tapping into my inner side and say, okay, what does
All
that
right.
mean? What would
Now,
that mean?
what you're doing and tapping into, just to work along, is you're feeling that something's not yet quite right,
Right.
and your ego, your animal, the body, mind, it's perfectly okay to say, I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm lonely, my spine doesn't feel right. You see, that's valuable information.
Okay.
But we want to get to it as you work through it, and we'll get to it.
Okay.
That you are not that spine, you're identified with it, or one can be ordinarily
Mm-hmm.
identified with something not quite right, but you have that situation.
Mm-hmm. Ah.
And to the extent it may be rate controlling, it might take you over with your worries or concerns. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Right.
for the
Right.
purpose of this,
Yeah.
you don't need to say one way or the other. But then you've got that, and you're fixed because this is what your body mind thinks. This is your ego, your self, your small s self,
Right. Right.
and it's there. It's clear. You're not fudging it. You're not, if it's Tuesday, but the other thing happened when I was a kid, and the other day. You see, you're just right at that point
Mm-hmm.
of attraction.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now,
So I would
go ahead.
so
Go
so
ahead.
healthy spinal alignment is the 2 to 3 words, and then what I want to do is you said speak to the truth, look and feel, and
Right.
so what's that
Well,
involve?
that now, if you, I don't know if you're on the journal or not, but as you go through it, you can move across the journal horizontally
Mm-hmm.
and look at it from what do you appreciate. It's
Okay.
simply what simply is appreciated about those few words. I
Okay.
appreciate
Okay,
that.
so I'm going to do this live so we can just give an example. So I would
Sure, sure.
appreciate healthy spinal alignment means to me to what I really appreciate is a sense of balance, a
Yeah.
sense of with the spine I would assume like a connection to health, heaven and earth that's
Mm-hmm.
aligned. That's what healthy means to me.
Mm-hmm.
What alignment means, then that's what alignment means. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the thing that I'm looking for is balance because when my head is curved in the
Yeah,
wrong
there you
way,
are.
it's actually causing imbalance. And I wonder if that imbalance is causing other imbalances. The imbalance in the body may
Sure.
be causing
All
something
right.
else because we're all body, mind, spirit, right? Okay, so
Right.
those are my
Well, hold on. Okay, stay with it. But now the appreciation is simply you're appreciating being balanced,
hmm
period. Unless there's something else you want to say. I mean, whether it's balanced with this or that, you can add a lot to it.
yeah,
But the
balance,
essence of that,
balance and connected.
feeling balanced and connected.
Okay, yeah.
So we've moved from seeking a healthy spinal alignment is your concern, a topic,
hmm
and you value or appreciate uh, healthy balance, or would you say being balanced and connected?
Right.
Is that it?
Yep.
Okay. Then we want to get to what is the soul knowing of that. In other words, what is it that you know is your truth about this issue or this topic about being balanced, connected,
Yeah.
or
Okay. When I type into my soul, it says the body is highly intelligent and knows how to do this.
I know the body knows how to deal with this, do this. That's my word. I put in
hmm
deal, but you
hmm
said do.
hmm
What's right for you? I know the body or maybe, I mean, I know that psycho, spiritually, physically, there is a balance point, or there's a way out of it. And I'm just talking out loud along
Right.
with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
But
No, that's
what words
perfect.
grab you?
I know that there's a divine order and intelligence beyond my
Ah,
comprehension.
CJ. So that's your knowing.
Okay.
You know that. You're
Yes.
clear. It's not debatable. It's not. You just know that.
Right.
That's your soul truth.
Beyond my ego, I know that there's a divine knowledge and
Yeah. Yeah.
intelligence that's operating that will help me heal this alignment.
So a brief statement of that would be: I know my soul, the universe, is moving towards health. Or
Yeah. Yeah.
what phrase would work right for you?
So
So it's important that your words, you own your words.
okay. I trust the divine's healing power. How about that
Yeah.
as okay? I trust the divine's healing power.
Well, is that the I trusting the ego, or there's the divine heals, or you see what I mean? Where
Right. I trust the divine heals.
I, who's I?
Oh.
See, it's a little
I
tricky
see.
because there's a me, CJ,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's your soul that's connected to everyone else's soul, the universal presence, the divine order,
So I want to get to the latter one.
the knowing. Yeah.
What do I know at uber consciousness? What does the consciousness know? Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me see. If I get to that point, then that's the next part. Okay, let's see. There's a divine order to things.
Yes, you know that.
Hmm.
The divine order and divine healing, or whatever. I mean, whatever
Hmm.
words that make that formula complete for you in knowing about this topic of healthy spinal alignment and appreciating being balanced and connected. And
Okay. Okay, so I have so to track where we were, I started off with the mind. I want healthy spinal alignment. And then you got me into feeling, which is I said I want to feel balanced and connected. And
for
then you
you,
got
you
me
valued that, not only feeling that, but you appreciated that. You valued that. That's important
okay, all right. So I
in this
value
life.
okay,
Yeah.
so what's the difference between feeling and appreciation? Why did you make
No,
that distinction?
they're both there. Different variations of it. Appreciate is to value and enjoy, love, like. You see.
Okay, got it. So it's kind of a depth of feeling, like
It's starting to expand this healthy spinal alignment because the signal is you'd like to change it or improve it or work with it in some way. It's not yet quite right. And we're
ah
just touching it to get a clear handle on it. And
okay,
you're
got it.
appreciating, you okay, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. So it starts from healthy spinal alignment and then move to a sense of feeling balanced, connected, and then like a deeper sense of
Knowing the
knowing. Yeah,
universe heals or
right.
the
And then we
divine,
move, yeah,
yeah.
then we move to, okay, if you were really to tap in and merge to a higher consciousness, what would that knowing tell you? And it was that I came up as there's a divine order to things. And so we took the
There you are.
healthy spinal alignment to a kind of feeling and appreciation. Then we moved to a kind of higher consciousness. So you moved to what you said was a different perspective.
A soul knowing, in other
Mm,
words, what your truth is from you.
okay. And then
There's a divine order.
okay, got it. And then you said that there are two or three words. We're going to speak to our truth, so a look and feel, and then we're going to reach a different perspective, and then we want to feel comfortable and feel like what it is to be there and have that. What did you mean
Well,
by that?
I wouldn't. Once you get the perspective, that does the heavy lifting. You don't have to elaborate further.
Okay.
You've raised the issue of healthy spinal alignment.
Hmm.
You appreciate being balanced and connected, and you know there's a divine order.
Okay. All right. So that's the complete package. Now what do I
That
do?
that's it. That's it. But just sit with it. Now, you want to be
Okay.
able to really meditate, and those questions are an intentional, spiritual, meditative inquiry. Yes, this is what I appreciate. This is what I know. And now the vision is: how would you like things to be in
Okay.
this life? How would you like to be doing in terms of the same theme you followed?
Okay, so am I asking from a higher source,
No, it's just
or
simply,
just
now
CJ
you're coming
wondering,
back
like,
to, there's a divine order, and now you want to bring the divine order, what you'd like to have or manifest or be in this life, in
uh,
this physical form expression.
okay, okay. So my vision would be to be healthy and whole, healthy and whole, and aligned. It goes back to being healthy, aligned, and whole.
Well, wouldn't it be, well, you might sometimes we preface it, wouldn't it be nice to have a healthy back or a healthy spine or just simply,
Yeah, I'd like to have a healthy spine because a healthy spine, I think,
yeah.
means a healthy body. So would
Hmm.
how would you like to be? Would be a healthy spine. Oh, I see. So I go back
Yeah.
to I'd like to have a healthy
You,
spine.
in terms of how you like things to be, there is a hierarchy in all of these from being, having, and doing, with being the senior structure, the senior consciousness, being, and then having, and then being. So being healthy might
Mm-hmm.
be the criteria, or being healthy and then having a healthy spine, and or being healthy, having a healthy spine, or being able to bungee jump or so. You see?
Okay, so it's like being healthy, and that's the be, and then that's the do. So what I'd like to do is bungee jump.
Having, yeah, well, if that's what you like, but
If let's say,
make
yeah.
it right for you. I'd like to feel comfortable in my body. I'd like to be, wouldn't it be nice to be comfortable in my body, to move through the day comfortably? Or, I mean,
Okay.
something
Yeah,
like
for me
that.
it would be uh, quality of life because I figure a healthy spine means a better quality of life as I
Right.
get older. So I'd like to have a high quality of life. Um, and
Now, when
my
you
50s
want to,
on.
when you write that down or pick those words, make sure those words have the meaning that you intend,
Okay.
that vibrate and resonate as your truth at that moment. In other words, this Polaroid picture, that's how you'd like to be, what you'd like to have.
Okay.
Given this topic, appreciating this, knowing this truth, divine order, I desire, I'd like to have, I like to manifest, to be, have what? And
Okay.
that expression is your truth. I mean, it's a small t, but it's, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, mine
That's
would
who I
be I
am.
would want to manifest the highest quality of life
Yeah,
and health.
okay.
Okay. So what would I do this? I want to manifest. I want to be healthy, whole, and aligned. So I went through all this journaling. Let's say I was journaling all of this. Now what would I do with it?
Well, first of all, you've gotten to know what is well, the next step, let's go back to the next step would be your current reality. What's not quite right yet? What's not yet quite right about your situation with your back? That would be the current reality. What's really going on? We start with the what we call the enlightenment categories: appreciation, knowing, and vision, because you don't want to let your negative energy take over.
Ah,
What is so wrong with you in this physical form, with this identity called C.J. Louis? You see, this lovely, lovely soul, this lovely body, lovely physical form. What's not quite right about this situation with your spine and back and alignment and all that?
present.
What's the bottom line of what is so bothersome? What's
Okay.
not quite right about this? What is fearful, troubling, and then, what's the nitty gritty of this situation?
Yeah. So my fear is being stuck in a wheelchair, not
Right.
being able to move, and just being fed by
And
a tube. I mean, you
yeah,
got there right away.
yeah, I'm yeah,
I assume you're pretty
been,
intuitive, but that is my
been
fear.
that,
Yeah.
but fearful and so what's wrong with that? I mean, can you go a little deeper in that to get to a deeper, sort of
Oh,
just a
if I
simple
can't. Oh,
expression?
I know. If I can't do, then I don't exist.
Yeah, I could die, or I won't exist, or
Right.
I'm gone, or something. I mean,
Right.
again, what words will come for you? And again, you don't. The thing is, don't belabor it. As you get more practice at looking at it, the clarity will emerge. You
Ah.
see, as
Okay.
you see it, you get deeper. You really see the play of the ego's worries and concerns, which are valid and accurate, but they're not the truth. And it's simply being aware of, should they emerge, you can start to step back. Well, okay, this is what I do want and what I don't want. And then we get to that action step where
Ah.
we
Okay.
take these. But so,
Okay.
what's your best?
Okay. Here's my guess. I
Yeah,
can't. The ultimate fear, the resonance that you're referring to is,
yeah. Give it your
I
best
just can't.
shot.
I just cannot be. The idea
Yeah.
of just being in a wheelchair and not doing anything,
Yeah,
my
sure.
ultimate fear is that I cannot just be.
Okay, now hold on. Now, when you write that, I can't just be, and I mean that as you write it, it doesn't mean anything to me per se. I mean, I get a sense of what you're getting at, but those words have to reflect a deeper truth of that idea of I can't be. The idea of I can't be has to be really. That's it. That's what really
Yeah,
bugs me about this.
that's it. That's it
Okay,
for me.
good. All right. And then as you can see, as you go around it several other times, other iterations, other situations and circumstances, you get more practice and clearer at separating the distinctions of those two streams of consciousness because you're really bugged by it. I mean, as a human, ongoing human.
I see. So, like, what we did with the journaling is we went into deeply understanding what it is that I wanted to manifest, and then we went into
Yeah.
the stream of understanding what it was in my ego. I'm
Yeah.
afraid to
What?
be like, I can't be.
Right.
Ah, I see. Got it. Okay, got it. Okay.
And now then the last perspective, and then really like a spiral, you can go around it again, and there's another layout where you can see all these perspectives one on top of the other from a vertical. So they're all there at the time, and you can start to work with them. So you're as though you're stepping back from the situation of your topic, but working at it as though a potter throwing the ball of clay, the topic on a potter's wheel, and you start to work with it. Now let's go over to the action.
Okay.
And the action is unique because it's not ego action. It's what's intuitive, what is effortless, reasonable actions that you can put in place that are harmonious, that are effortless efforting about this situation and your concerns, your valid concerns, and your
Okay.
very true desires.
Okay. So for me, it's I just can't be. So the intuitive action would be to be okay with being. That would
Well,
is that
yeah,
an
is that an action or now the way you would create that action because right now you've made it you had the words, you had the thought, but was that a brain thought? In other words, you're taxing the brain to get the answer, what we call an embodied thought, or do you really need to maybe an action step would be to meditate on how you'd like things to be? In other
okay?
words, so you get more vibrationally connected to what you appreciate and what you know and how you'd like things to be, and start to see that more vibrationally, more palpably in your world, moment to
Okay.
moment.
Okay.
Does that make sense? In other words, so is that if that's effortless? I mean, for example, during my journal, I'll expand more in getting clearer about the vibration of my soul desire to appreciate balance, connection and balance, and my desire that my knowing of the universe, everything is perfect in the universe, and vibrate with that. You see, now you're starting to create in the action. Is that a reasonable action step? It's not very efforting. It's not very intellectually taxing, but you changed when you said that I need to be more positive or something like that.
Okay, got it. So I would be action would be kind of mapping back to the things that we mapped out. So
Yes,
one
yes.
action would be I'm actually literally going to map this out to the process. One action would be visualizing a healthy spinal alignment, and the second
Yeah.
action may be feeling and appreciating balance and being connected. The
Yeah.
third may be, knowing how that there's a divine order of things, trusting at a very deep
Yes.
level that there's a divine order of things.
Right, right. And the trusting is not so much of the ego trust. Yeah, I trust you're not going to,
Right,
borrow money. It's simply that
right.
the soul knowing.
Okay, so
And
those are intuitive actions that could
yes,
happen.
so you might
Okay.
want to, an action might be meditate more fully on that of who you really are. Who am I? What about this experience? And maybe there's a question you might want to ask about each of those
And then what would you
pieces.
do with the fears? Like, so there's a fear that, I'm going
Ah.
to be a curled up mess and I can't be. What is there an action that people
Sure,
typically
sure.
take?
You can also work with appreciating how fearful you are.
Ah, oh.
You see, once you start to appreciate it, you no longer resist it. So you
Mm,
can appreciate your resistance, your aversion to this fear, and feel it and appreciate it. It's really palpable. Let it come out. Let it emerge. And on the other hand, to appreciate how attached you might be to this fear, because that's your guidance. That tells you, to look both ways and be cautious and take care of yourself and be a good girl. And,
Okay, got it. So that would be the whole journaling experience and getting like kind of your on a mind level, what is it that you want? Healthy spinal alignment, the feeling and appreciating, kind of dropping down and feeling and appreciating what would it be like to have healthy alignment. I said balance and connection, and then kind of getting into the heart of the matter of when
knowing.
I know and my knowing self knows that there's a divine order to things. And then I kind of went back to my mind, that stream of consciousness, and said, okay, what's the current reality? What are the fears that I have?
Yeah,
and then I had
right.
this kind of shrunken, sick person with an awful spine.
Right.
And then if I go deeper into the fear, what is that about? I just can't be. So then, and then the last step is the intuitive action that I should take then to move forward from this place.
So an effort, again, might be simply reviewing it again and getting more and more accomplished. Now, it's simply you've been gracious and honest and very candid to share like this thing about a spine and balance. However, you get to learn in all the other categories and pieces, it's all variations of this holistic, let's say, kaleidoscope of perspectives. And as you get more grounded in it, you start to see more intuitively what the solution is from a soul knowing. The actions become more intuitive. Things that are more residual or remnants, this fear, you can work with it again in other areas. As you keep doing it, it will tend to drop away. It'll be simply your guidance.
I see. So I think what I heard you said is, let's say I'm journaling today. Tomorrow I may be journaling and I'll review this and a new thing will come up, and then I'll have this process. But as I'm kind of going through every day, journaling, I'm starting to pick up themes and ideas.
Yes.
So I kind of have the landscape of CJ's mind, for better or worse. So
there
I can
you are.
start picking up themes that I can then work on those at a thematic level. Like it could be that tomorrow it's like, I wish I could, I don't know. Like I wish I'd have a better relationship with, X person. And if I go down this map again, I may get to the point of I need to just trust the divine order of things and go, whoops, there it is again.
Exactly. You get
see,
that
okay.
I love you, but I can't live with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, okay.
I get it. Okay, great. Okay, so I think we've actually identified the process.
You've done great here,
yeah,
CJ. You really walked around, like kicked the tires. You really see it, but as you get more conversant with the perspectives, you see how they'll blend and how moment to moment you become more and more unconsciously competent of taking a signal or guidance. It could be a neck, alignment, a relationship, and you moving into it, you're exploring it, looking at from the soul consciousness, as well as appreciating there's an ego, there's a body-mind experience. And the integration of the two with your being more positioned in the higher knowing, and then you go and talk and speak and act with your knowing.
I think what I'm picking up out of this too is, you'll have this idea, this concept. It's a spiritual concept. The divine is always talking to you. You need to listen, right? But, but I think people are like, okay, and they're like sitting there trying to listen, and you know what I mean? And I think that it's like processes like the one that you just mentioned, where you're journaling and you're making the time and you actually have questions and a process in which you're listening. I think that that's one way of going deeper and deeper, which just meditating, sometimes you won't get there. It kind of depends the person you are.
It's the inquiry. It's asking the question, well, what is it about this? What am I appreciating? As you write the words, you're like a watcher. Oh, no, it's not that. Or looking at a menu. No, this is what my lunch will be. This is what I want and value in this particular space and time. And then this is my truth. This is my soul knowing about. And so each time you start working with the information and energy of your thought forms, the meaning of your words, good, bad, and now you have a mechanism to take charge of your life through taking charge of your thoughts.
All right, so let me so tell us about your website. Can you give us your URL? And I noticed that on your website, someone can actually start their personal journal themselves, which I haven't had a chance to do.
Yes, it's absolutely free. We have, first of all, you can www.lawofattractionjournaling, journalling.com, and you can go there, take a look around, all sorts of tools. But then on the upper right of the home page, sign up for the journal, the confidential free journal. And when you sign up for that, you'll get notices, an invitation to join our Facebook group, Law of Attraction Journaling group, and you'll get weekly notices of our coaching Thursdays at 5 p.m. Boston time every Thursday. And we're available to talk, answer questions, and help people walk through it. I mean, I would hope that this walkthrough with you, CJ, would be a wonderful teaching module.
Right.
For people, and we'll make it available to help them get a way to how someone really would do it over a particular topic.
Okay, so let's say I'm journaling and I'm like, Michael, I'm stuck. I don't really know I don't know how this soul connection thing is. I don't get that. Then I could actually go and type in a question in your Facebook or something.
Absolutely, on the Facebook group, or bring it up in our Law of Attraction Journaling seminar on Thursdays, or private message me, or get it to me. We want to know everything as much as we can, and we always respond to, because we want to get our language aligned with what people are, where they are in it, and how to ease them into it and make it user-friendly so they can walk around it, just like you and I were doing. But I think you already were pre-positioned to be receptive to a spiritual dimension.
Right.
And you didn't know, you had a good interior sense of the animal, the body animal.
Yes,
no,
I
you know yourself.
Yeah, I do know myself, so I figured it'd be a good demo because I could do it within a short period of time. Okay, so what happens on Thursday when people call in? What kind of things can they get?
We like them to introduce themselves. I mean, we don't want to name. We see their name on there, but not introduce, not to tell us who they are and all that, so much as to say, how did they get the journal? Where are they with it? To tell a little about where they are at in the process, and that will guide us to give them information. We don't want to. We don't. Now, we do have some people that are quite comfortable to have us look at their journal. They're the presenter. We look at their page and we work with them there on their page and their material. But others may not want to do that, and that's fine, but have some questions and want to know what soul consciousness is, or soul knowing, and what does this mean, and how does it work. And
okay, so that Thursday could be anything from clarity in terms of languaging and the process, all the way to please look at my page and help me figure out.
Absolutely, I'm stuck here or there or whatever, or there's something not getting. And we want, we want to make the language smooth and easy. So what I did with you is easily translatable.
Right. Got it.
And they put their own thoughts down. And we do want you to have opened up your journal, to sign up for the journal, have the journal, take a look at it, and then your questions will be more aligned with how best to teach you.
Okay, I know this is going to sound really cheesy, but is this all free?
Yeah,
is this thing all free? So basically all you have to do is sign up for. Okay, excellent.
And it doesn't cost anything.
All right, I love it. Okay, we are out of time. I want to thank you so much. We've had Dr. Michael Perlman here talking about the Law of Attraction Journaling.com, you said, right? And his website. So please make sure to sign up. Thank you, everyone. Sorry we were long. Bye. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to...
Sorry, Rebel.
You're clear.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Michael, do you have do you have a couple more minutes? Because do you have any more
time? I do.
I'm
yours.
Can I call you back? And then I'm going to get a video, so we get a little video segment of this. Probably like 10 minutes. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go for it. Back. Okay, bye.
You bet.
Thanks, Rebel. Bye.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. I would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show, or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.